One of the questions that I get probably more than any other when people have been asked to speak to an audience is, what am I going to say? Please help me with what I'm going to say. This is such a common concern, isn't it, for people who need to stand up and speak. What am I going to say? Well, today I thought we'd look at 5 steps you can take to put together a talk for any audience on any topic. 5 simple things. And if you follow these, not only will you get through it safe and alive, but you'll also do a good job as well. And you're likely to hold their interest, the audience's interest, and they'll stick with you if you do these 5 things. So real simple. The first one is, if you're going to be asked to speak in front of an audience, you've got to have something to say. And that is really the benefit for the audience, which comes in the form of a point, some kind of point. What's the point for you standing up and speaking to this audience? You need to be clear on that. Now, it doesn't matter whether this is a 20-second or a 10-minute or a 60-minute presentation. What's the point that you're going to make? Maybe there's one big idea if it's a longer presentation, and maybe it's just one averagely sized idea if it's a shorter presentation, but there's a benefit to the audience. They've asked you to speak to give some value to the audience, so you've got to make a point. What is that point? You've got to be clear on this. It's amazing how many people stand up to speak without being clear on this, and I saw this somewhere, I forget who it was that said it. Don't stand up to speak until you have something to say, and then when you've said it, sit down. Don't keep talking. So many people make that mistake as well, don't they? Don't stand up until you've got something to say. When you have something to say, stand up and say it. And when you're finished, sit down again. Don't keep talking. So that's the first point. You've got to make a point. Then what, though? That's not enough on its own. Then you need to make it interesting. Try to bring the point to life. It's not just about dumping information on the audience. Les Brown says that this is the most common mistake that new speakers make. Most speakers just do an information dump on the audience. But he says, I'm going to show you how to create an experience the audience is never going to forget. What a difference there is between those two, doing an information dump on the audience or creating an experience that they're never going to forget. Which would you prefer? Of course. So it's not just about the information, it's about bringing it to life. How do you bring it to life? Well, you can bring it to life with examples, stories, jokes, questions, all kinds of different ways, exercises that you can bring it to life. You just need to think about it. You just need to think about it. So step 1, you've got to have something to say. Then how can you make this more interesting? How can you bring it to life a little bit? Ideally from your perspective. All right, then what? Step 3. What's step 3? Step 3 is, can you make it fun? Can you loosen up a little bit? Can you lighten up a little bit? The audience would rather enjoy themselves while they're learning from you if they had a choice. So it doesn't need to be all like really heavy and serious. You can lighten up. If you can make it fun, if you can make it funny, then that's probably first prize. It's so disarming to use humor when you're speaking. So if you can be funny, the audience would probably really appreciate that, and you'll do a much better job of connecting with them if they're laughing with you. So humor disengages the ego in a wondrous way. So if you can use humor, if you can make it funny, so much the better. But if not, just lighten up a little bit and take the edge off, make it not too serious. So make it fun if you can. People really like to enjoy themselves while they're learning. So funny is first prize. But if not, interesting could be exciting or dramatic or scary or embarrassing. Any of the other emotions work well as well. But humor's probably first prize. So that's number 3. Then number 4, make it shorter. Make it shorter. It's probably too long. When you first think of something to say, you use way more words than you need to, because you're just remembering it and you're saying it, you're sharing it. And it's very, very clumsy very often, and you're inefficient. There's way too many words. So we want to make it more efficient. We want to make it more efficient. We want, if we've got a point and we've got a story, let's say, that we're going to share that helps the audience get the point, and it could be either 10 minutes or 2 minutes. Guess which one the audience is going to prefer? Yeah, of course. Well, I think a simple example of this actually is when you hear a joke and you tell it to your friends. First time it's long. Next time you're a different group of friends, it's a little shorter and a little funnier. The next time a little shorter and a little funnier. Boy, what's happening? Well, you're shaving away some of the irrelevancies and focusing in on the key bits that you need. So it just keeps getting better. It gets more efficient and more powerful as a consequence. So make it shorter. Make it shorter. It's too long. You're using too many words. And that's almost always the case. When we say something for the first time, we use a lot more words than we need to. So step 1 then. Step 1. What's step 1? Make a point. Step 2. make it interesting. Step 3, make it fun if you can. Step 4, make it shorter. It's too long. And then what's step 5? Step 5 is make it count. Make it count. If you've gone to all this trouble to really connect with the audience and share something of value to them, then now's the time to make it count. What does that mean? Well, ask for the business or ask them to take that next step. Have a call to action of some kind. So you might as well, if you don't ask them to do something that you want them to do, then they're probably not going to do it. They're almost certainly not going to do it. But if you do ask them, they might. Think of that. I used to play soccer years ago, and I made it into the Maidenhead District squad when I was 11, and we had this coach called Mitch, and this was his constant admonition to us: if you get into the box, if you get into the 18-yard box, and you can see the goal, shoot. He would say that every training session and every match that we played. As soon as you get in the box, shoot. And not only would he say that, but we all picked it up. So if any of us got into the box, we'd all be shouting, shoot, shoot, shoot. Because if you don't take shots, then you don't score goals. Simple as that, isn't it? So you might as well. So is this rocket science? No, this is not rocket science. Anyone can do this. Make a point, make it interesting, make it fun, make it shorter, and then make it count. Couldn't be simpler. And if you're speaking for longer, repeat that process. So here's your cheat sheet. Make a point, make it interesting, make it fun, make it shorter. And then, that could be 3 or 4 minutes. Repeat if you're speaking for longer. Make another point, a related point, and do the same thing again and again. And then when you're done, when you get to the end, you have that call to action and ask them to do whatever it is that you want them to do. You might as well. You never know. They might do it. That's it for this week. So, of course, we'd love it if you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to share this with any of your friends, or you haven't signed up yourself, you can go to speaking360.com and put your email in there, and then you'll get an email each week with the weekly video. That's it for this week. Thanks, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye. Take care. God bless.